Takže dobrý den, vážení diváci astronomických událostí, protože máme výroční vysílání, máme tady také speciálního hosta, až se mi tomu nechce věřit, ale vedle mě opravdu sedí Andrew Feustel. So, Andrew, nice to meet you. I'm really glad that you have visited us in iQLANDIA, and if you can say some special information for our watchers, our visitors of astronomické události, which astronomical events in Czech language, which is a special stream, which is now 4 years ago, the beginning of this stream. So this is the reason we are really happy to have you here, and if you can answer our questions, we will be so glad and happy.
Okay, yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. It's a great facility. I appreciate you taking the time to show me around, and it's really been special to see all of the access that students and visiting people have to the interactive displays. It's pretty amazing.
So Andrew, my first question is going back in the year 2009. If you can remember, you are staying in front of the Hubble Space Telescope and changing the wide field and planetary camera too. And there was a knob which was not so good to do outside from maybe the door of the camera, I don't know exactly, you can describe, but you must use a brute force. It is possible that you are doing something what only the Russian cosmonaut sometimes doing, or is it possible also from American astronaut?
Yeah, it was a very unique situation that we had to remove the camera, as you mentioned. There was a single bolt that was holding in the instrument, and the bolt was secured at a much higher level of torque than we expected. And so after 2 attempts to remove the bolt with limited torque, the mission control team said to just try as hard as I could to remove the bolt. And I first asked if it was okay if I broke it, because I thought I didn't want to be held responsible. It wouldn't be my fault. And they said, yeah, it's okay. Do the best work you can. And fortunately, we were lucky that the bolt removed itself properly, and we were able to replace the camera. And that wide field camera 3 is, of course, the instrument has returned some amazing images of deep space from the Hubble Space Telescope. So we're very fortunate that it worked out.
Yeah. We are also very happy as astronomers that we have this. I can't believe that it is still working.
I can't believe it either.
Also, thankfully, that the mission STS 125.
Yeah.
It was really a great mission.
Yeah.
So thank you for my question. And next for
Andrew, I read that you've attended Purdue University. Was it because there were so many astronauts even before you, like Neil Armstrong?
There's a couple of reasons that I went to Purdue. One of them was that I knew that Purdue had graduated more astronauts than nearly any other institution in the United States. But the second was because that my family, starting with my great uncle in 1903, graduated from Purdue University. And then my father in 1963 and my uncle in 1965. So it was a natural selection for me to go to Purdue, but also I had already the inspiration and desire to become an astronaut. So in addition to wanting to be an astronaut and having I had the family legacy of being there, I thought, what better place to start than Purdue University?
Kept your dreams.
I did, yeah.
Followed the.
And in fact, I met my wife at Purdue University, who of course represents my link to the Czech Republic, because her mother is from Znojmo and she's Czech, with Czech heritage. So that's really how it all started, was at Purdue University.
Very great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's also a connection for my question, because you are most famous because you have taken so many things to space. For example, Neruda's Písně kosmické and Kartékos. And did you expect it that you will be, or sometimes you will be so, it made so attention for people around you, or here in Czech Republic, it's really great attention about Karték and everything around.
Yeah, it was. I have to give credit to my wife Indira, because of course those were her ideas to find a way to include the Czech Republic in our journey to space. And we're really encouraged now that hopefully we're leading to the Czech journey to space and flying Aleš Svoboda into orbit as well as a follow-on to, you know, that popularization of spaceflight and space activities. So I don't think either of us expected that there would be such a legacy that we left with all of these activities, but it's really meaningful to us to know that people in the Czech Republic still know the story of Krteček, and they still know the story of Jan Neruda, and some people know the stories of the Peter Ginz drawing that we took, and all of these things were an attempt to, from my wife, to bring the Czechs on a journey to space to continue the great legacy in science that the Czechs have contributed to astronomical sciences and exploration. And now we have a chance again to send another Czech astronaut. I like to think that I'm the adopted Czech astronaut, but really, you know, we really want to see another Czech in space and find some of these great opportunities for the science community to also contribute to the space sector. It's going to be amazing.
It's really amazing. Thank you for that.
Yeah, well.
I will go somewhere a little bit different. You were on the ISS, and as we know, by 2030, it will be deorbiting. So do you think that in the far, far future, we might get something like ISS?
I hope it's not the far, far future. As you're aware, I work for a company called VAST, and we are working to build the next space station after ISS. We're actually hoping to launch that spacecraft in 2028 so that we can have a minimum of a 2-year overlap between the new ISS and the old ISS. So we hope that even within 2 years, or actually about a year, we'll launch our first orbital module and create an access to an orbital space platform or research platform in low Earth orbit for humans to reach before going on to the next space station.
Is it going to be ISS 2.0?
Sure, we can call it that. Why not? Yeah, it'll be private ISS 2.0.
But the module looking really modern, like SpaceX Dragon inside.
Everything cleaned up and tidy.
Tidy, clean, no cables.
Yeah.
I see some videos. It's really interesting.
Well, from an operator's perspective, I'll say there's no guarantee that it will remain that way, but we're certainly going to try to start that way.
In the first few years, it will look
probably look pretty good, but you know, I think in the future, actually, we will get better and better at designing spacecraft, and we understand now what the limitations are after 4 or 5 decades of operating in space. I think we know how to make those components better, and Dragon is a good example of a way to make a spacecraft aesthetically pleasing to live in and operate in, and also be effective and functional as a research facility.
Perfect. So my last question will be about if we are talking that you are outside of the station, for example, or the space shuttle, and you are doing something, for example, on the Hubble Space Telescope. How about the equilibristics, or about what is above you and what is down? Do you see that the Earth is down and the space is up, or have you any of these points of view that this is down and this is up, or is this only that behind me, in front of me is a telescope, and now this is the right side and left side, and this is up because I told for me that this is up and this is down? Or what is the?
We're constantly reorienting in our brains, and for us, we use what's called body reference, where according to our orientation is up and down. And in fact, we give commands to, or requests to, if for example we're using the robotic arm to move us around for access, we will call and make requests for maneuvers that are related to up and down and left and right, pitch up, pitch back, these sorts of things that are relative to us.
Nearly the same as if you will be a robot only.
Yeah, pretty much. And in a sense, the Earth and space become irrelevant for their location to us. You quickly learn to adapt to multiple orientations at the same time.
Yeah, thank you.
This is like very different question. I've read that you were in a band, Max Q, astronaut band, and what genre did you play, guys?
purely rock and roll, and old style rock and roll. We played all the music that nobody ever had to practice because we all knew the songs so well because they've been around so long that we could, because we didn't have a lot of time to practice as astronauts. We're quite busy with our flight operations. And what's unique about the Max Q band is that we had a backup person for every position. Just like NASA has a backup for everything, in the band we always had a backup for every position in case somebody was in space or coming home or not available. We could have somebody that could fill
How many
it.
times a year have you performed?
Not as many in the last 5 or 10 years as early in my career. I would say in the first decade we played quite frequently, many events around the country, in the U.S., but nowadays not so much, just because of the changing dynamics of the space program. And to be honest, I would like to see the the current astronauts, reinvent the band and have some more opportunities to perform.
Yeah. I read that you were a lead guitarist and lead singer.
I tried to be, yeah.
I also have seen on the internet, on YouTube, he has done a really good song and playing a guitar on the ISS. So maybe there is the
Would
time.
you be willing to play something and sing for us?
No.
No.
Thanks for asking.
But Kuba is learning for 3 years. So maybe
I will bring my guitar and see.
No, it's probably not a good idea. It's been too long, I need to practice a bit.
Okay, so we will invite you next year.
Yeah, next year I'll prepare and we'll try to do better.
With the rest of the band.
Sure, yeah.
So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you
My
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you, guys.
And we will see you next time, maybe.
All right. Sounds good.